Hello and welcome to my English oral assignment. Today I'm gonna talk about youth culture as my main topic, and as a subtopic, I've chosen to talk about the Breakfast Club, the different stereotypes of young people, and the situation of young people, both past and present. I'll start off with what is youth culture. First of all, modern youth culture started in the 1950s in the USA and then gradually spread to Europe afterwards. Before the Second World War, there had been no such thing as teenagers, which meant that children's went from childhood to adulthood directly. Once they finished school, they entered the job market and soon got married. In the 1950s, eventually, TV shows, music, and about for teenagers saw the light of the day. Eventually, young people start to hang out and have a social life, just as we do today, basically. Suddenly, teenagers had become more visible in society. They quickly found a new confidence in themselves, and they wanted their voice and opinions to be heard, and they turned their backs on the norms and expectations of their parents generally. Instead, they had zest for life. At that time, thousands of young men and women opposed the war in Vietnam, and a strong counterculture formed as a reaction to the American society and everything stood for. Young people took their stand. Protest movements and anti-war protest had become more visible in society. As I've said before, when youth culture was born in 1950s, teens started to rebel against their parents, and they started their own cultures and alternative lifestyles. In the 1960s and the 1970s, they created a new generation, which is also called now a new generation in opposition to their parents, which is called the generation gap. And in the 1980s and the 90s, youth culture was particularly influenced by pop culture. It was the times of the yuppies and the punk. Then we have the 2000s and today. This section deals with phenomena that have gained considerable popularity amongst young people today, which are social networks and reality television. Young people increased interest in social networks and reality TVs, which have been criticized and been the center of debate in the media. Critics claim that today's youth are attention seeking and self promotional. I'm gonna take this point later in my discussion, and I'm gonna say what I think about the new social media and the generation that has been created with social media. Then we have the youth culture at the Breakfast Club. Here I'm gonna talk about the persons and their problems in this movie. The film is about five teenagers, all of whom had suffered backlash due to various wrongdoing and now have to be punished with backlash, where they are basically asked to write a 1,000-word essay on who they think they are in real life. At the beginning of the movie, these five teenagers are very different types, who don't seem to have much in common at the beginning. But eventually, during the film, they are we have been told that they have a lot in common. For example, something that they have in common, it could be their drastic relation with their parents, which is very problematic. Um, at the beginning, they are seen as one, the beauty, two, the brain, three, an athlete, four, a reckless, and five, a rebel crime. During the film, the teenagers develop a friendship and solidarity. As I've said before, at the beginning of the movie, there are five different persons, each with their own problems. But during the day, they find out that they have a lot in common, as I've said. And from there, they develop a very strong and good friendship and solidarity. That they find out that they basically have the same qualities, therefore, there are no just five random individuals. They become eventually the Breakfast Club. So we have the different persons. We have Clary, which is the beauty, the princess, the one who acts just like a princess. Then we have Brian, which is the brain, because he is the more clever, if we can say, in the group. Then we have Andrew, which is the athlete, the sporty one. And then we have John Bender, which is the one that characterizes the most because he's the rebel and he's the one that doesn't want to listen to the rules and is very angry and very angry against other people. Then we have a discussion, my own opinion. Here I'm gonna talk about what I think of this generation and the generation that has been created with social media. So I'll start off by saying that I think that all teenagers have problems with, or at least the majority of teenagers, because not all teenagers have problem with their generation and authorities, for example, teachers and parents. But some feel the generation gap. But I think that for my generation, there are some specific problems concerning our time. As I've already mentioned on the youth culture today, technological development has created some very different circumstances concerning the youth generation. Our lives on social medias give us benefits, very good benefits. For example, it's very easy to keep contact with your friends and family even on a long distance, which for me personally it's a very good thing. But in other circumstances, it causes some problems because it could be cyberbullying. It could even be some of the worst cases, for example, sending nude photos to other people, which can send them to other people's, and that's a privacy rule that has been broken. But the big question is, has social media changed our generation? In which way has it changed our generation? Me personally, I think that we have become a generation where you have to be some kind of perfect person, because you have to post the pictures where you look good. Well, you have to have a beautiful Instagram profile with a lot of followers. You basically have to create the best character of yourself in these social medias. So I think that it's that's basically how it has changed the generation. In both, as I've mentioned before, in a positive way, but also in a negative way in some points. Yeah, that was it. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you soon. Bye.